welcome to Talk FCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys, and welcome today to the FC Barcelona mid-season review. Today we are going to be analysing our season so far, how it's panned out under Ernesto Valverde. We're going to be picking out the positives and the negatives, and most importantly, looking ahead to 2019, the vital games that we've got coming up, and exactly what we need to do to really fire ourselves to glory, cement our crucial objectives. So sit back, relax, and enjoy looking back on what has been a successful start to this season. But of course, when you're reviewing the first half of our season, where better to begin than looking at the La Liga table, which really is pleasant reading for Barcelona fans right now. We're actually 2 games away from officially being the halfway stage of the season, but still, with 17 games played, to be 3 points clear at the top of the league is very, very positive indeed. One thing that I would say though is that looking at the struggles of Real Madrid and even some sluggish form throughout the season really from Atlético Madrid at times, should we and could we have been a lot further ahead in the league right now? I think you look at that 3-game winless run back in September. We drew with Girona, we drew with Athletic at home, and we lost to Leganes away from home, teams that you'd usually expect us to beat, and certainly those at home, Girona, Athletic, you would have expected 3 points in that game, and even more so when you look at our home defeat to Real Betis, conceding 4 goals. I think in general, we probably could be a lot further ahead. I really do. I think we played very well for the majority of the league season so far, but there have been those lapses, and I think if we'd have really capitalised on that, we could be almost right now out of sight in La Liga. But still, you look at that table at the near halfway stage, we've got to be happy with that heading into the new year. 3 points clear. It's all looking good right now. And if you're looking for highlights from our league season so far, look no further than our early season clash against newly promoted Huesca at the Camp Nou, where we absolutely obliterated them, scoring an unbelievable 8 goals in that game. 8 goals in our favour. It really was a festival of goals at the Camp Nou. Messi and Suarez with 2 each, Dembele, Rakitic, Jordi Alba, and an own goal as well. It was a brilliant occasion in round 3, and a really rude awakening to La Liga life for little Huesca. And then of course there's our El Clasico demolition of Real Madrid, yet another demolition of our arch rivals, which eventually led to the sacking of Julian Lopetegui. And let's not forget, we hit 5 past Real Madrid without the services of Lionel Messi. Messi didn't even play in that game due to his arm injury, and Suarez took centre stage. He stepped up, a Clasico hat-trick for him, a sensational performance overall. Coutinho and Arturo Vidal also scoring in yet another famous win against Real Madrid, which really was a phenomenal occasion, and even better to finally do it in our home stadium. And let's not forget either some of the last-minute comebacks which saw us pick up some really vital points in the league, you know, dramatic late goals which really have proved very important for us. Think about Ousmane Dembele climbing off the bench to equalise against Rayo Vallecano with just 3 minutes to go, before Luis Suarez, fresh from his El Clasico magic, delivering all 3 points in the 90th minute with his winning goal. And again, you looked at Dembele arriving in those big moments, coming off the bench once again. He rescued a huge point away at Atletico Madrid, really vital. An equalising goal in the 90th minute, calmly taken, brilliantly struck, which gave us a vital point at the Wanda Metropolitano, and most importantly, a point for us, but really vitally taking those 3 points away from Atletico and giving them only 1 in the process. And when you're looking at positives and negatives from our league season so far, I think mine would actually be very simple. Nothing too complex. The big positive for me would be our goal scoring. It's as simple as that. As Barcelona and as Barcelona fans, we want to see us getting in attacking positions, going for opponents, really taking on the occasion and scoring goals, entertaining the fans. That's what it's all about as a Barcelona fan, because in front of goal this season, we have been ruthless and we have played on the front foot for the majority of the time, which is something we have to see at Barca, and something which I'm going to come on to later with a view to 2019. We've comfortably scored the most goals in the league so far. We've scored 18 times more than the second highest scorer, Sevilla, scoring an unbelievable 47 goals in the league so far this season. That's an average there of nearly 3 goals in our favour per game. That is some stat there for Barcelona, and seeing 2 Barca players at the top of the goal scoring charts is really nice to see. Messi running away with it, Suarez there as well, joint second place, and Messi looked comfortably leading there the goal scoring charts, even though he's missed several games with that arm injury. So that man, superhuman, as you know, leading of course in the assist chart as well. But the negatives, you guessed it already. The negative for me, the big one would be our defence, our defensive record, because it simply hasn't been good enough this season, especially in that September period where we were slipping ramping up, dropping points that we spoke about, and even November as well. We've conceded 19 goals so far this season, which is 7 more times than Atletico Madrid, and even by their standards, they're actually having a bad season defensively by their very high standards. So 19 goals for us is not good enough in terms of goals conceded, but of course you would have to accept that we've suffered some very serious injury problems at centre-back, even throughout our full-back areas as well, and to be honest, that has made it very, very difficult for us. But at the same time, you've got to do better at the highest level against the bigger teams, against the more ruthless attacks. They will punish you, and we do need to improve that. What I would say though, on the spin side of that, to put a positive aside to that negative, you would have to say 4 successive clean sheets in La Liga over our last 4 games in the league. That is very, very promising indeed, and perhaps looking ahead to 2019, could we be leaving our defensive problems behind, and something that we'll look back on and say, yes, we learned from that, we improved it, because that's what we need to do. If you combine a more solid defence with the attack that we've seen so far this season, that is scintillating right there, and that's title winning form. If we can do that, we're onto something very, very special. And I think as well as the positives and negative, we certainly have to reserve some special praise indeed for the additions and the signings that we brought in the summer, and in particular how each of those players have played a significant role so far this season in the way they've really adapted to the Barcelona way. If you start here with Arthur Melo, he took a bit of time to establish himself fully in the starting lineup. Ernesto Valverde a little bit cautious early doors to include Arthur, but since he's made his breakthrough, you have seen the kind of player that he is, the kind of player that we've got on our hands here, and he's only going to get better. He's a midfield player we've been crying out for now for several years. He's definitely made our team better, a lot more balanced, a lot more structured in that midfield, and like I say, he's still a young guy, he's still improving, he's still learning, he's going to get better and better and better, and I think in 2019, that's going to be a colossal year for this young man. Which moves us on to our other midfield signing in the summer, which is Arturo Vidal, a very different type of midfield player to Arthur Melo, but still one that's had a very big impact on our season so far, and indeed the dressing room itself. A big character, a very strong character, somebody who's not afraid to say what they think. You know, he's questioned his game time on a number of occasions. He's gone face to face with Ernesto Valverde quite a few times as well when he didn't feel like he was getting a fair chance. But that kind of hunger, that kind of desire to succeed, that's only going to help us as a team. He wants to drive us forward, he wants to win games, he wants to win trophies, and not to mention in 2019, in those big Champions League games, the experience that Arturo Vidal has, that is going to stand us in really good stead, and he is going to be a really solid addition to this team. And then of course there's Clement Lenglet, brought in this summer as what was then a third choice centre-back, but due to Umtiti's serious injury, the Frenchman has had to adapt almost immediately. He was through the door and straight away thrown in at the deep end, and you've got to say, looking at that, he wouldn't have expected to play as much as he had. He wouldn't have expected to be a regular fixture game in, game out, week in, week out at centre-back. He has coped tremendously well with the pressure. It's a lot higher than he would have been used to at his previous clubs, but he's come in and he really has adapted, not only defensively, but in terms of his playing style as well, playing out the back, trying to be a ball-playing centre-back, starting the moves from the centre of defence. He has been very, very good indeed, and I have to say as well, he's a young guy too. He's only going to get better, he's only going to improve, he's only going to adapt further alongside Gerard Piqué, all that wisdom, all that experience, and he is going to get better in 2019, I'm sure of that. And our fourth signing, of course, was Malcolm, and of the 4 signings in the summer that were brought in, he's probably the one who hasn't really had the kind of impact that we would have originally hoped. He hasn't really been incredible and really a standout player, but I wouldn't say it was down to his own quality of the player himself that he hasn't really had that impact. He simply hasn't been given enough chances in the team, and combining that with injuries has just meant really that we're yet to see the very best of Malcolm. But at 21 years old, he's a young player, he's somebody who's still developing, he's still waiting for his chance. I think he'll get it. I think if he's patient, if he continues to work hard, recovers from this injury now and gets back in the team in 2019, time is on his side. He wants to succeed here, it's his dream to play here, and I would expect in 2019 to see many more moments like his fantastic goal, all that emotion, all that quality as well at the San Siro. It was a brilliant goal, a brilliant moment, and I'm sure there's more of those coming our way. But finally guys, it is time for the big one, the verdict on Ernesto Valverde, because throughout the season so far we've had a lot of highs as we've mentioned, but we have as well had some lows where again that little bit of creeping in, that little bit of defensive mindset, that has been creeping into our style of play, which is not what we want to see. And that's what I would say here about Ernesto Valverde. For most of it, it's been smooth sailing, it's been calm, everything really that you'd associate with Ernesto Valverde. I think his squad selection at times has been questionable, but on the whole, he does manage our team and the personalities very, very well indeed. But I think really, if we're to challenge on all fronts this season against the big teams about the super clubs, we have to stick to one very basic Barcelona principle, and that's playing on the front foot and never ever deviating away from that. Live and die by your philosophy. At Barcelona, the best form of defence has always been attack. Don't allow your opponents to start to dictate you. Don't allow your opponents to get some control. Don't lose your control and your superiority in these games. And that's why Valverde has to stick to this kind of philosophy in 2019. He has to stick to it. He's got to live and die by that. He's got to believe in that and never surrender that, no matter what the occasion, because you will then get the rewards. Because we've seen this season some excellent performances, but we're still chasing that pure consistency with regards to our philosophy. We don't want to see Barcelona sitting back at the Camp Nou, inviting pressure onto us by allowing our opponents to dominate the ball and get confidence. That is not the Barcelona way, and that is not going to win you the Champions League. We all saw what happened away at Roma when you let teams get on top of you, when you let teams dictate the tempo. Do not fall into that trap. In 2019, let's do what we do best. Play to our strengths, continue to show that vast attacking prowess that we've seen this season, and let's defend from the front, always on the front foot, always believing and scoring a lot of goals. Because let's face it, we have got tremendous attacking players, so much attacking quality, and a very, very good team as well. We can win everything this season. There's no doubt about that. We continue to get the best out of Messi, and if Messi is there, you've got a great chance. Any team with Lionel Messi has a great chance. Where there's Messi, there is hope. And I really, really believe this season we could be on the cusp of something quite special indeed. But of course, guys, I want to know your thoughts as well. What is your thoughts on our season so far? What are your positives? What are your negatives? What do we need to address in 2019 to be successful and challenge on all those fronts? And just in case you missed it, guys, I've already reviewed our Champions League campaign in its own special video. So if you did miss that one, you can find it in the description and right here if you do want to go ahead and view that. Thank you, as always, guys, for watching. I'll also have a video coming up very, very soon discussing our best 11 and exactly what approach we need to use in 2019. That's coming up soon. But until next time, as always, Visca El Barça!